Hey guys, I got a funny story to tell you. Um, when I bought this, it came with a man basket that's 10 foot wide with a 5 foot wing on each side. It folds out so you got 20 foot to walk on. And it also came with a big old bucket. It came with the forks and it came with a big old bucket that did not fit. The guy said he bought it. He was going to try to modify it to fit. He torched the brackets off the back of it. So I had this huge end loader bucket, real heavy, that had no brackets on the back of it. And I didn't have time to mess with it to make it fit here. So it's just been sitting there. I have other equipment to move dirt with, so I didn't need to put the time and effort into making that bucket fit. Decided to sell it. Put it on Facebook Marketplace, and yeah, it was on there a few weeks. And a gentleman called me from down in Indiana and said he was interested in it. We haggled a little bit, agreed on a price. I told him, I said, look, it's been added on to. Some of the welds aren't the greatest. It's not, where they torch the brackets off. There's a couple places where they actually torched through the skin a little bit. So it's not in primo condition at all. And I tried to show you good enough pictures so you can see that. And he says, I understand what I'm going to use it for. It'll be fine. Okay. So he comes up here and we're talking on the phone because it's kind of hard to get to our place sometimes. We're on a dead end off of another dead end, and GPSs don't like it sometimes. But so I'm talking to him, and I said, tell you what, I'll drive down to the end of my driveway so I can see you coming, and I'll flip my lights at you or something. I drove down there just as he's coming, and we saw each other, and so I got turned around, and he followed me up in here, and I'm looking, and he's driving this little bitty S-10 pickup truck. It was probably, I don't know, 1990 or so, 90 to 95, and older, not in real good shape. He said it runs good. It was dependable and everything, but where the cab and the box meet, some of them kind of tilt a little bit, so the gap is a little bigger at the top, and on the inside of the box, when the fenders wasn't connected to the bottom of the box real good, the inner fender in the box is in rough shape. And this bucket is big. I mean, it's probably 7.5 feet long, and it's shaped like this. The short part of the bucket, that was probably 3 foot deep, and then this long side here was, it was like this. They made the bottom end longer and the sides longer. They added 1/4 inch plate on them to make them bigger, to scoop more fluff or whatever. But anyway, it was really big, really heavy. And I said, I thought you'd be coming with a trailer behind the pickup truck or something. No. He says, I come up and check it out. And he said, I think we can get it in here all right. And I said, well, it might be a little bigger than what it looks in the pictures, and a lot heavier than what it looks in the pictures. Oh, I think it'll work. And we talked for quite a little while about life and all kinds of stuff. Great guy, super nice guy, very interesting to talk to. Been through a few hard times in life and stuff. And we really hit it off. But we got talking, found out originally he's from Arkansas, and just talked about all kinds of stuff. We talked, and I said, I'd really feel better if you went home. He said he had some kind of a trailer. I said, if you went home and came back with your trailer tomorrow or the next day or something, I'll hold on to it for you. I won't sell it to anybody else, but as long as I know you really want it. And he said, well, I'd like to give it a try in this thing. He said, I think I can get it home all right. And I said, boy, I'm hesitant. I'm not sure it'll do it. He said, well, there's only one way to find out. And so I had already went down and got it off. I've had it sitting on top of a log pile for some logs that have to come up here to the sawmill this summer. And I brought it up here on the forks, but I couldn't put it in the back of his truck on the forks. Because what I had to do, I had it sitting flat like this on the forks, and I had to put it in the back of his truck up like this is the only way to go in there with a curved part on the bottom, because the rest of it was too wide for the box of the truck. The trucks are only 4 foot wide, and this was probably 6 foot wide at the top, 6.5 foot wide maybe. And like I said, 7.5 feet long, and weighed a lot. I don't know exactly how much, but I'm betting it was probably close to 1,000 pounds or so. But so what I did is we set it up on some blocks out here, put straps on it. I had a couple big long straps on it, put the straps on the forks and picked it up so I could have it swinging below the straps, get over his truck and lower it down in. He did have a little roll bar. So the cab of the truck's here in the box here. He had a roll bar right behind the back window that wasn't like a big steel welded roll bar. It was like a fancy chrome one that kind of screws together. It was lightweight for looks, not for sturdy. And so we got it up over his truck and started lowering it down in. And as I started lowering it, we got it down there pretty good. And he started putting a couple straps on it, because when I started lowering it in, it's like the front end of the truck's here, back end's here, and I'm lowering it in. As I start lowering it, it starts kind of sliding back a little bit. Because this end was hitting the roll bar. This end was going down between the by the tailgate, between the sides of the truck. This end was hitting that roll bar and wasn't letting it go all the way down. So it started wanting to slide. So we put straps on it and stuff. He had a couple big heavy straps, and when he put straps over the top or any sharp edges, I had some big hunks of heavy cardboard I put on there so it wouldn't cut his straps. And we got that ready, and I said, okay, well, you want me to let the rest of the weight down on it? And he said, yeah. I said, okay, I'm just going nice and easy. You tell me to stop if you want me to stop. I said, okay. So I'm lowering it down, and back in the truck's going like this, and the front end of the truck's come, setting nice and high. And I got it till there was a little bit of, he didn't stop me. I kept going. I said, you okay? Yep. We got down to started getting a little bit of slack in the straps. And I mean, the back bumper of that truck was probably that far off the pavement, or the dirt out here. It was really sitting low, and the tires were kind of squished out, kind of sideways. I said, might want to stop and get some air in them tires. But I said, you sure you don't want to go back and get your trailer? Nope, I want to give it a try. Okay. I said, call me when you get home so I know you made it safely. So we got it all strapped in there and talked a little more, and he drove on out. Okay, James is getting ready to pull out with that big old tractor bucket and his little Chevy S-10. A little bit overloaded there. Wow. Holy cow. I recommended for him to get a trailer to haul it on. I told him to be really careful. I'm not comfortable with this, but he wanted to haul it back down to Indiana, LaPorte, Indiana. Huh. Wow. Judy and I had to go to Myers to get some stuff at the store that night. And he called while we were in Myers. It said it took him 2 hours to get here, but it took him almost 5 hours to get back home. So he called and said he made it home safely. And he says there were some people going by me on the highway. When he said highway, I don't think he meant like interstate, like exits and entrance ramps and stuff. I think just a 4-lane road. But he said there's people going by him because he was going slow, and they were holding their cell phones out the window, videotaping him on the way by. He told me, when he told me that, he says, so keep an eye on YouTube. It might be on there by somebody that passed me or something. Hey guys, I figured as long as I was down here making the intro video for the little blue truck, I thought I'd grab me a little bit of firewood, put it in the back of the buggy, and haul it up to the house, because we're almost out of firewood in our rack beside the wood stove in the basement there. So we'll get some up there. Got this from a friend of mine. He, ooh, that's shot. Friend of mine that was also in the sheet metal trade. I worked with his dad when I was an apprentice. And then I worked with his big brother later on when I was an apprentice. And I worked with him when the guy I bought the wood from later on when I was a journeyman and he was an apprentice. I believe he even worked at my shop when I was a business owner for a little while. Owned a sheet metal shop for a little while, myself and a buddy from high school. And this guy worked for me then for a bit. But anyway, yeah, he lives not far from here, actually right almost beside our church. And he's got a nice dead oak that I ended up with. And yeah, we'll get some up there in the house. I got a few pieces left in the house. And these warmer days, I don't need a whole lot anyway. We like to keep it warm enough in there so we can work comfortably on getting the house done and ready to move into. So keep it comfortable, Sometimes I get in there and don't have a fire going. Get started working there and my fingers get to freezing and stuff. Some of these could stand to be split a little bit smaller for our wood stove. It's not a huge wood stove, but I can't complain. He gave me a good price on it. Okay, guys, did you see what I was talking about? That's a big old load for a little bitty truck, and he made it. Apparently he knew his truck's capabilities better than I did, but yeah, it was scary to me anyway. And I got a chuckle out of it, and made a friend. I think I told him to hang out on my number because I'm hoping to talk to him again sometime. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it, and yeah, give me a thumbs up if you liked it. I got another video coming up. A friend of mine that collects antique tractors and antique, mostly lawn tractors and garden tractors and road garden equipment, and I mean really antique stuff from the 1900 or so. You know, from the late 1800s to the early 1900s, and he also builds rat rods and stuff. And a good friend of mine from church, and he's got something in his barn he's working on right now. And I told him I wanted to come over and interview him about that. And then maybe later on, I'll interview him about a couple of those other things. But he's got some really neat stuff, and really, he's very knowledgeable on the stuff that he's got. When it was made, sometimes he knows how many of them were made. Like this piece that's in his garage right now, supposedly there's only 2 of them left in the world right now. And so I'll show you that too. I'll get over there and get that done soon. But hope you enjoy the videos. Please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already, if you enjoy this kind of stuff, and share the videos with a friend. Thanks. Catch you on the next one. Bye.